What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Rip City Rundown podcast. Today is going to be our second annual Hot Takes podcast. We did one about this time last year, middle of Summer League, and it was very entertaining. It was fun. Obviously, they're hot takes, so they're most likely not going to become true. Clearly, most of them did not become true. You know, we had Dame win MVP. We had Ant or Jeremy's going to be the best teammate Dame's ever played with. The Blazers are going to make a deep run. One that did come true, or I think we can all agree is true, is Anthony Simons is better than Jordan Poole. I think we can agree with that. But before we get into all of this, is there anything we want to talk about with Joe Cronin's press conference, Summer League, anything at top of mind?
I mean, it's just the same old with Joe. If you were to take all his quotes, write them on a piece of paper, cut them up, put them in a top hat, and grab a random one, they'd all practically say the same thing, which is to trade for that all-star and build around Dame. And every action that he's taken thus far in his time as a general manager has went against that. So not much to say. I'm still pretty sour with what he's done so far, but I'll judge him in 2 years from now once we see what this young lineup turns into.
Yeah. Joe Cronin recently addressed the media for the first time since Dame asked out. And let's see. He said a lot of things. Honestly, a lot of things he said, I was okay with him saying. He took responsibility for not getting Dame that all-star piece. I still think it's still non-excuse. It's not an excuse to go against your word for practically 2 years and make Dame sit out for half the year to get draft assets so you can trade and you end up not trading. So I'm still not going to give him a pass there, but at least I respect him taking ownership. I also liked the fact that he said they are willing to wait out for a while a deal for Dame, and they're going to be patient, which some people might not like. But I like because we're going to try to extract maximum value. I saw on the Bill Simmons podcast I was watching this morning, he said if you're the Blazers, you're looking to get back a Jaylen Brown, a Paul George, and picks. Like, Dame has value around this league, and I don't want anyone who's watching this or anyone who's watching the saga between Dame and the Blazers to fall into the trap in the thinking that Miami has a good offer, because they don't. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, like he said, could take months, could take weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to update it, but I mean, at some point, you kind of just got to move on from Dame. Once the trade happens, we'll talk about it. If anything big comes out, we'll talk about it, but it's probably time to focus on guys that are probably going to be on the roster next year. So that's what we'll kind of do. We're going to do some hot takes. We've got all from the Instagram. A lot of them are the same, but a lot of different people. Let's just start with one that I think is good, and two of them said it. One is from Seth Brady, one is from dgreen.11, and both are basically saying Sharpe is going to average. This guy says Sharpe is going to average 25 points per game this season and win Most Improved, and the other guy says Sharpe is going to be Most Improved player and is top 15 in scoring.
Wow.
Thoughts?
Well, we're going to tank, like almost 100%. We're just going to open the door for that opportunity. You saw what Sharpe could do at the tail end of last year when we started putting up over 20 points a game with ease. So I could see that one coming true. I really could. Most Improved is kind of a stretch. I think he already improved himself a lot. If he were to be Most Improved, that would turn him into probably an all-star because he's already really good right now. I could see the 25 points. A little hesitant on the Most Improved player, but I like that take. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I don't think it'll come true only because you're still rostering Simons. I think if Simons wasn't on the team and it was just Scoot and Sharpe, then Sharpe, I think, could average 25. Most Improved, I don't think so because of like a Jordan Poole in Washington is going to just huck shots. And I feel like Most Improved player, usually the person that wins that award is on a team that's just at least respectable. Like, it's not going to be someone who's on a just absolute trash team, which is what the Blazers are projecting. But 25 points per game, yeah, that's, I think, too much. But I could see high teens, maybe even sneak in 20. I can see it.
Yeah,
that's not, and that's a good hot take.
With Simons on the roster, I think Simons has the best chance of being the leading scorer. I said last night, me and Cody were going back and forth like, well, what would your hot take be? And mine was Simons averages like 27 or 28 because I just think Simons has a little more, probably just a little more under his belt when it comes to scoring in the NBA. And I mean, Sharpe right now, I mean, you don't want to take too much into Summer League, but I mean, he's struggling a bit in Summer League. He's struggling with efficiency. And it's probably going to take a little time to truly like become that number one scorer if he so is going to be for the Blazers.
It's more just shot selection. At least what I saw in the Rockets game, he was settling a lot for step back threes, and he dunked on, was it Jay Huff? Yeah, just absolutely. Like, I'd like to see Sharpe get to the basket more and utilize his athleticism. But he's a great shooter too.
One more thing, I would think the other team we play against this year, every game will probably put their best defender on Sharpe. Maybe Simons.
Probably Simons.
Yeah, probably Simons.
It's just weird because it's hard to project what this Scoot, Simons, Sharpe.
We have 4 offensive. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we have talent.
Grant too.
Grant's on the roster too.
Okay, I take that back when I said best defender, but it's just interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Got one that I don't know is appropriate for this podcast, but has to do with the ownership. Phil Knight exposes Jody Allen in a specific way.
Who's this from?
This is from E_Richardson.
Well, where
you can read it word for word.
Oh.
Read it word for word.
Phil Knight releases explicit images of Jody Allen.
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with in the takes, guys.
Next hot take.
Hey, if it blackmails her into selling the team, I wouldn't be opposed. I'm kidding.
All right, I'll do this guy has actually sent like 7 or 8 hot takes.
That's a joke.
But I'll just read the 2 that I like. One is Miller finishes ahead of Scoot in Rookie of the Year voting, but neither win. I'm assuming that means Wemby's going to win. Not a crazy hot take. And then Dame starts the season with us, expecting to be traded, but his annual cold start hurts his value. Because Dame sometimes starts the season, at least probably with 2 out of the last 4 years, he started off a little cold, and then he gets hot going into the next calendar year. Is there, like, you've said you think that there's a possibility Dame could not be traded until the season. Do you think his play during the season could actually affect his trade value if he does, in fact, stay with us?
I don't think his play to start the year will affect his trade value at all. That is hot. I don't know if that's hot, though. I don't think Brandon Miller finishing ahead of Scoot in Rookie of the Year voting but not winning is hot, because that would mean Wemby, Brandon Miller, Scoot, which is the order they were drafted. That's not really that hot. With that being said, I think it's hot that I think a great hot take is Scoot wins Rookie of the Year.
That is someone's hot take. I'll go ahead and say who that was. It is from... Got too many takes to go through here.
Too many takes to go through. I think, like you said.
Yeah, from Seth Brady, who gave the Sharpe Most Improved Player. So he thinks the Blazers are going to win 2 awards next year.
Yeah.
Most Improved Player and Rookie of the Year.
I mean, but about
that's optimism.
Dame trade, like, big trades around Portland just don't happen that easily. So I could totally see him starting the year in a Blazer uniform because, I don't know, I just feel like a big trade for Portland is just talked about so much more than...
Yeah, I mean, this
it's all talk, no walk.
And this front office and this organization doesn't really have a huge track record of pulling off big trades or trading away big players. It's typically LMA walked in free agency, didn't get a big haul for Drexler. Obviously, it's a completely new front office, but I mean...
I wouldn't really liken it to past moves. I think it's more just the Blazers aren't going to take the crappy Miami offer. And that's good. I'm glad Joe Cronin's doing that because, and he said in that press conference, he said, we want to put Dame in a good position for the rest of his career, but we also have the best interest of the franchise, which is what your job is. So for all the people who are like Team Dame, go burn your Blazer jersey if you don't think he's going to be a Blazer. I mean, it's franchise first. Take your time.
Interesting thing is Kevin Durant's situation, requested for a trade, carried the Nets to a 4 seed.
Something like that, yeah.
Put the Nets in the playoffs. They got swept, obviously, without KD, but it could happen to us. Like, Dame plays with this. It's still a decent lineup.
I don't think this is a hot take.
Sneak into the playoffs. You never know.
I don't think this was a hot take, but someone commented and was like, wouldn't it be just awkward if Dame is with us to start the year, say we do what we did last year, kind of have a most likely like a fool's gold start. We start like 15-8, and Miami starts slow from a finals hangover, and they're suddenly under 500, and Dame's requesting a trade to a team that's worse than the Blazers. Like, obviously Miami... Yeah, everyone knows he's better. They're better, but that would be interesting.
Well, here's what I'll say about that.
If he changes his mind.
I think that
Electric.
yeah, I
That'd be
think
insane.
the interesting thing is Dame himself hasn't really said much to the media. It's been his agent and just other NBA media members, Twitter people. So the optics look like Dame is. I don't know. I feel like Dame's reputation has taken a hit in Portland slightly, only because it's people think he's kind of being not a diva, but like they think he's kind of going against what he said by only asking to be traded to one team, and that team went to the finals last year. That's not very Dame-esque. That's not his image that he's built over the last 11 years. But he has not said himself. He has not said anything himself specifically. It's been his agent. But I think it is a hot take that the Blazers will be better than the Heat next year. I don't think Dame. And long story short, I don't think Dame's value will be affected by his play if he is in a Blazer uniform to start the year.
I agree.
Okay, we've got. We'll stick on the Dame thing just to kind of just move through it. We got from Brody Erickson. Now this is gonna be a lot, and you can stop me if you want to talk about something. Brody Erickson says Lillard doesn't want to be traded after seeing how well Scoot played. Jack Chinbarker says Portland should still try to build with Dame as if he didn't request a trade.
That's not hot. Thank you.
We've got
I mean, yeah.
Owen Woltz. Dame ends up staying and we make it to the second round of the playoffs.
Love that. Love that take.
Nathaniel Tina, trading Dame is a good thing. Dylan Coe, we're going to be better next year without Dame. That's
All right, we can stop.
Yeah,
That's a
okay.
lot.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are all different.
I will
So
say
pick
one. The one that I saw was Lillard doesn't want to be traded after seeing how well Scoot played. That's just wild.
That's tough.
Because I think Scoot played well, but he was also 5 for 13 from the field. So
It's one game.
Yeah.
Dude, chill out, bro.
It's also like they play the same position.
exactly.
And yeah, the Blazers this year will not be better than last year at all.
Well, what's
I mean,
crazy
I guess
is
How
there's
many
a
wins did we have last
chance.
year?
we had 33 wins.
Exactly.
We
Like,
could have a better
It's a
record.
low
but
bar. It's a low bar.
I mean,
33 is a low bar.
It is a low bar, but do we have two 19-year-olds? 20 year? No way.
yeah,
No way.
219.
No
Yeah,
way.
but Scoot is 19, but he's like
Unless Dame
Look,
plays.
Look, I,
The
again,
way-
it's
the-
summer league. It's summer
Look,
league.
the
But
way-
young players are often very inefficient, and we're seeing that in the first two games in summer league. It's
That's
just
fine.
summer league, and you might not want to take a lot of stock, but it's also worse defenders and what they'll see.
Well,
So
also as a rookie, you have to work with coaches, work with your trainers, work with the team, and that you need. Scoot will find his role in the team. He'll find where his spots are and how to get to his spots. Just like if Dame had 40 points in the game, we all know like how he would do it. He'd hit 6 threes, be pretty efficient from 2, and make 10 free throws. Like that was that's his game. So Scoot is going to be like, is he going to do the mid range game like CP3? Is he going to slash like Ja? I mean his shot looked better than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I said, and this does not have to do with the hot takes, but it's very important that people understand this. Do not compare Scoot to like Dame in terms of shooting. Like Scoot is obviously going to be a worse shooter. Dame is like top 10 all time. Yes, I said it.
yeah,
Top 5 all time.
yeah, I think he's top 5 all time probably.
All right, top 5 all time, but that wasn't. I was a little safer with top 10, but top 5 all time. So if Scoot isn't a great shooter, we can't be like, oh, this guy sucks, because that's not his game.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so all those hot takes. What was one?
Let's slow down.
Yeah.
So we can. I mean, the Dame ends up staying with us. Second round of the playoffs.
Okay, don't
Okay.
talk about that one.
That'll
Yeah,
be
sure.
Unfortunate.
You want to say anything about that?
No, you can go first.
So it's Dame stays. We make the second round. That is indeed hot, for 2 reasons. Dame's not staying, and we're not making the playoffs. But that's why. I appreciate the hotness of the take. I don't think that's possible, but most hot takes aren't possible. So I appreciate the thought, but that's like a West type of take that I've
thing-
been making for years. So I'm not going to agree with that one because I'm done doing that.
The thing with all that is, I know Dame likes Portland, even though he requested a trade. I know he loves the city. He loves, maybe not the organization anymore, but anyway, this organization, if they do what they say, Joe Cronin does bring an all-star, I could generally see Dame like actually wanting to stay, and it wouldn't be like Kevin Durant's situation where he's just waiting every day just to get out. Trade deadline 5 days away, 4 days away, just waiting on it. Like, I genuinely think Dame is that type of player who likes Portland to a certain extent where he could actually change his mind. It's so hot, but at the end of the day, if this organization does bring in what he wants, a winning team, then it's not out of the question, I should say.
I feel like if that's going to happen, though, it means Scoot.
I think the only way that
dealt.
Dame stays is if like another player on another team asks for a trade, say like a Jaylen Brown or a Joel Embiid, and then like we're willing to give up. Like it has like at this point we're not trading Scoot for Mikal because A, they don't want to trade Mikal, and B, we're probably clearly Joe wants to keep Scoot probably. I mean, I won't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And then you're not trading for clearly Ant's not going for Pascal. Like I don't see a world unless it's a true like perennial all-star MVP caliber player where we're trading either Scoot or Sharpe. Like the only guy that's obviously on the board is Ant, and it seems like he's pretty close because he's the only one at the summer league game. So, I mean, I think the reality is Dame's like, let's move on. I don't think there's a chance in the world that we trade for somebody. But I mean,
this is the biggest news right now in Portland. So there's obviously going to be hot takes around Dame, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. This Mike Ledegoat. He says long term, trading Dame will be the smartest move we've ever made, i.e. OKC trading their big three. I think the first part has like some substance to it, but comparing it to the OKC trading their big three,
Where are they now?
That was like they only traded Harden and they got like that wasn't a smart move that they traded Harden.
Yeah.
They probably should have kept Harden.
So what's the point of that?
I don't know why he added that part, but just focus on the trading Dame will be the smartest move we've ever made.
That's hard to predict. We don't know that. I mean, that is literally
impossible. what level does this team have to get to for that to be the best move? Does it have to be Scoot and Shaedon are leading this team to like the finals, the Western Conference
I think it has
Finals?
to be a Western Conference Finals, but it has to be like
Sustained success?
Yeah, it needs. Yeah,
Like true contender status? I don't. Because
it does.
you have to be
It
a
does.
contender if you're gonna
does.
be better than what Dame was.
I
Because
mean,
Dame was
first round fodder.
Yeah, Dame was playoffs every year, and obviously the one Western Conference Finals run, and then second round.
Look, that's what I said on a couple podcasts ago when we were having that heated discussion about what's the better path. I said it's trading Dame. Now, best decision ever. That would require us probably going to a championship and going to the finals with the pieces that came from a Dame deal, which is very possible because picks could be going on for the next 8 years from a Dame deal. I think best decision ever is tough to prove to people, but I don't know. I think the Blazers are in one of the best spots in the league in terms of like who would you want to. Like, who has the best chance of winning in 2026?
Speaking of that, Bleacher Report dropped their top 9 young cores on Instagram.
Were the Blazers in there?
No.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
That's just crazy. But
Who's number one?
Spurs. Literally just to go to the Wemby.
Can I say something about Wemby?
Go ahead.
ESPN put out a graphic after Wemby's first game, and it was like all the players, like Scoot, 15 points, 5 for 13. Brandon Miller, 16, 5 for 9. I don't know what it was. And then it was like Wemby, 8 points because they didn't want to show he was 2 for 13. Like, if you think LeBron gets some love, Wemby's going to get some love.
You
and it's gonna
can
be
say
tough.
it. Just kidding. You can't say it.
I'm not going to say that. But Wemby's going to get... It's coming to Wemby. That's all I'm gonna say.
He's about to be ESPN's most beloved player. You guys see that post? They posted LeBron eating snacks at Summer League. That was crazy. Anyway, back to the hot take. I hope, because I do hope we win a championship with trading Dame and getting the pieces for that we need. Like, that's the point of doing this podcast, is to grind this team to a freaking championship. So I hope. Do I think? Unfortunately not. I was on the train of build around Dame this whole time until the second he got traded. But now I'm all in for the long term. I'm all in for the long game. So I hope.
He still hasn't gotten traded yet. But
Okay, I know, but
I know it's pretty much a done deal. But I'm just saying there's a higher chance of him coming back and reporting to training camp as a Blazer than people realize.
Sure.
There is, because, dude, I don't know. Like Miami can't be that stupid. They know they're a piece away. They don't have enough. So.
I will say Shams said the other day.
Shams, the same guy who said that the Warriors and Gary Payton were having a love affair.
Shams said the other day that it's getting closer between Brooklyn, the Blazers, the Heat, and like a fourth team, and it would obviously result in like 4 first-round picks.
Jared Allen to Portland.
Huh?
Jared Allen to Portland.
Oh, I did see that one. This one's from EJ Geigel07. This one, I'll be interested to see what you guys think.
Yeah.
Dame is being very selfish. It's a contract. You work for the NBA. Without them, you don't matter.
What does that even mean?
He's basically saying, like, without the
defend that
Blazers, Dame is nothing. And I think it's
You could arguably
it's
say
the other way around, probably.
Without Dame, the Blazers. Well, okay.
I can agree that, like, yes, it's a contract.
Now we're getting into like the relationship between players in the league, and like,
Bro.
is this a player-run league with like, or is this like the owners get to get like that's?
What does it
that's
even mean
loaded-
with a contract?
He's saying it's like if you have a normal job, you can't request a trade to another job in normal life. But it's different. But also in this, like, most of the time you have control of where you work. In the NBA, like, you can get traded like that, and no one cares if just a player gets traded. It's a two-way street.
You're doing the same job.
I guess you can say Dame's being selfish by saying he wants to go to Miami, but, like, if you're like, the whole point of him asking out of Portland, and we've
I wouldn't
always
call it
said
selfish. I would just say he's acting in his best self-interest.
yeah. I think, like, every single time we've talked on this podcast about Dame, like, being like, oh, if Dame asks a trade, I wouldn't blame him. We're saying that because we think he should ask a trade because he should win a championship. If Dame gets traded to, like, the Jazz, I'll just be sad because, like, that's just not, like, if he's asking for a trade, he's asking for a trade because obviously it's not because he doesn't like Portland and what his life is there, because he's talked about how much he loves it. He's probably honestly just lost a little respect for the organization because they said one thing, did another, and he would rather try to go win a championship. He thought he could do that in Portland but he never was really given the opportunity. So I'm fine with him wanting to go to Miami. It just sucks that the team he's choosing is like
has the worst
a bad
package
offer
of all time,
so.
and will set us back. Think about it like this. How about this? He worked for Portland for 10 years, and now he wants a raise. So, and that raise is not.
He was
in
never
pay.
given any benefits from the job.
It's not in pay. He wants a raise in terms of competing for a championship, which is fair. Yeah, he has every right to ask for a trade. So, I mean, selfish, sure. You can call him selfish, but he's also, like, I don't blame him, dude.
Dame is the opposite of selfish. If you're just define him and go around the league and look at every player's decision that they've made, Dame is just the opposite of selfish.
Again,
that's all he's done in his life. So I think that's wild.
Like you said, we haven't heard anything from Dame. This is all his agent, and this is his agent's first ever time dealing with someone requesting a trade. So his agent is just like kind of doing it the wrong way, probably. Dame hasn't said anything. Sure, I guess Dame could tell his agent to shut up, and maybe he did because I haven't heard anything in the last 3 or 4 days. But like at the end of the day, like it's.
Are you insinuating
his
that Dame wants to stay in Portland?
I wish.
Yeah.
This is from Ricky Claremont.
All right, Ricky. What do we got, Rick?
Love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. This year's squad is better than last year if we get a decent backup center.
Yes.
Nope.
I guess he's just assuming that
Yes.
What do you mean? Without Dame?
the current squad we have right now, or what you think it will be.
Okay. If we trade Dame before the season starts, I'll take this year's squad.
That is pitiful. No way.
Okay.
How?
You're taking away.
You're taking away Dame and you're adding.
You're taking away Dame.
You're taking away Dame. You're adding hopefully.
You're adding another 6'2" guard and a center.
not-
That's
Remember, we're basically getting picks, and like we're probably getting picks, and like the best young players we're getting is like Hami and Jovic.
Not Jared Allen.
No, I don't think that's
Okay.
realistic at
Well,
all.
I think Dame. You should be trading Dame for at least. Why are people okay with Jovic and Hawkheads being the best players in a deal? Like that is so.
I'm just
stupid.
realistic.
well. Okay.
What is realistic
That's-
about that? That's
What was
just
realistic
stupid.
about Joe Cronin just spitting out stuff and saying we trusted him and he does the opposite?
We
thing?
don't know the package. We
Because
talked about this last
realistically we weren't winning with Dame. We can do this. We can do this again if we want.
I just don't understand why you continue to have faith in Joe to make good decisions when the track record shows he doesn't.
Because clearly Scoot is his homie and he is literally committed to Scoot. So why would you like dude, if Joe Cronin makes a bad deal for Dame, that he can't recover.
Well, get ready for him to not to recover. Then I feel like
Okay, well, talking about
I
the
feel
question.
like you just want him to go to Miami because you just want what's best for Dame.
no. I just understand that this is how it goes. When a player wants to go somewhere, 85-90% of
Cool.
the time he goes there.
Then make it a 4-team deal and go get good players.
I think the package will end up solid. I think it'll be majority picks though.
God, dude, I don't want stupid ass pick swaps from Miami when they're
I'm not
picking
saying
28.
it would be from Brooklyn. It would be from Miami.
Like pick swaps are gonna be so stupid because we're already gonna have a higher pick than them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's what's stupid.
if we're gonna have a higher pick, then how is this squad gonna be better than last year?
How is this squad gonna be? Because I have faith that we can actually go get someone decent on the market.
I know we had 33 wins. What seed were we? 12?
Like 13.
Or
13.
13.
We were 13, so yeah, that bar is so. How were we that bad last year? It doesn't
Because
make
we
sense.
sat Dame for the second half of the year.
We went 2-18 in our final 20.
Then
to
I guess
get
we
this
could be
pick.
better than last. That's
Because
just crazy.
we went 2-18, so we
Bro.
can go get a top 3. It just happened that the fact that Charlotte took Brandon Miller is what screwed us because Scoot is clearly going to be better than Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
And I think Scoot and look, Wemby's Wemby. I'm not going to call Wemby bad yet, but my man is like Draymond Green's going to lock his ass up.
So you think, would you think we have more than 33 wins next year?
I don't think that defines what makes you. No, I
Well,
don't
if we're
think.
doing it on talent, then last year's team had more talent.
Well, I don't.
We had
I
Hart,
don't
we
think.
had Dame.
I don't think this team wants to win 33 games. So
I
I
think
think
here-
when Sharpe
I
starts
think-
averaging 23 before the All-Star break, all of a sudden he's going to go down with a phantom shoulder.
Yeah, so
think-
but in what world are we better? Talent-wise? Like, how do you...
fit-wise.
No. It's,
Oh, if we're going by
I think
fit,
it's
then I guess.
it's chemistry-wise because this team next year actually has
Chemistry.
initiative, a motive. Last year it was all awkward. Like, how are we this bad with Dame?
Yeah.
The defense isn't there, but this year it's like we know.
I think the
we
team-
know the bar isn't high this year, so we're going
Right.
to in that way. I guess.
I mean, I
better-
guess if we're being morally better, then sure.
Morally,
But I was just assuming better either meant talent or better meant record, because that's typically how we rate
That's a
record.
hard question. I'd say we're worse this year, but it's better.
I mean, are we taking the collective year? Because
And this is also, we have
are
no
we
backup
taking?
center
Are we
right
taking
now.
the? Are we taking the overarching year or just the best version of last year's team? Because half the year was no Dame, and
I
that
think-
team was dog.
I think we will have a worse record than last year.
But I don't think that's because they literally can't win more games. I think that's because the Blazers are more interested in getting a top 3 pick.
But
and
that's
are
the
gonna
same
shut
thing
people-
happened last year. We were more interested in a top 3 pick. That's the same thing. I mean, if you're saying Sharpe's going to go down, then that team's going to be terrible when they sit Sharpe with a phantom shoulder injury. Just like they sat Dame.
Yeah.
It's probably even worse last year.
I just think
sitting
we're
there.
actually going to get a starter level player in a return deal.
Okay.
I have a feeling that might go down next to Blazers are going to get home court and takes.
Okay.
So what are we better this year or?
I think next year we'll be worse talent wise and win 25 games max.
I think.
I agree. I think we'll be worse.
Well, this is a hot take episode, so I'm not going to have a cold take like these two. I'm going to have a hot take and say that this team this year will be a little better.
All right.
We've got from Grant T. Palmer. Nasir is still underutilized and deserves more time. It's hard to know that when you can't play.
When was he born? 1999. He's 20.
He's going in his fourth year, drafted in 2019.
This year,
fourth.
I've seen some great peaks from him. It's hard. I don't know. He's a confusing player. I feel like he has a lot of highs, but
He's very streaky.
yeah, streaky. I don't think he's improved. I think last year was a disappointing year for him this year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't. Think,
I remember at the beginning of the year I said Nasir's going to break out and average 14 and 8.
Yeah, and what
as
he
a
get,
starter.
8 or 7.
And then he was hurt to start the year, and Hart ended up being the starter.
More time, I can agree with. Underutilized. I'll give Nasir one more
I'm
year.
just waiting for someone that we don't expect to be good to can Nasir just turn into a 16 point per game OG Anunoby type level player?
I mean, he's
why
built,
can't I feel like all these other teams have these diamond in the roughs, and I guess you could say the Blazers had it in Gary Trent Jr. or even Simons.
But that's
maybe.
kind of the point because we have been relying on Dame to have 65% usage rate. So how is anyone going to get reps? Because we're just still ball watching Dame.
I mean,
So no one's going to get better.
I mean, I feel like if Nasir was better, he would perform better.
in his defense,
Well, I
he was
think
hurt a lot last
it's
year.
been injuries for him,
Yeah, it's
and
been
it's just
injuries.
not being able to I don't know. I don't know. I feel like standing in the corner and trying to hit a spot up 3, and you being judged on if you go 3 for 6 from 3 or 1 for 6 is not the best recipe. That's why I'm thinking this team fit wise is gonna be better because Scoot's gonna be more pass first. Allow other guys to get involved, and it might be ugly to start, but that's how you get young players to get better, is you give them reps. We were trying to win now, which is great. We're trying to win now with Dame with a rebuilding roster.
Yeah,
Like-
we've basically been rebuilding
We've been sneakily rebuilding
the Sharpe
since
draft.
since we lost to Denver after Dame had 55 in Game 5. We've
Just ever since Olshey got fired.
Yeah.
Because he was holding on to pieces, and Joe just came in and said, I want a clean slate.
Yeah. And right now, Neil Olshey started a fire, and it was absolutely burning through the organization, burning down all the trees in Oregon. And Joe Cronin put out the fire, but right now, all the trees are singed and blackened, and they're all dead. And he's replanting them right now. You can't regrow a tree that's already dead. And that's, unfortunately, Dame is one of those trees. So we planted some seeds, Scoot and Shaedon, and I think those trees will outgrow the current ones.
And this here little is a little baby tree. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yes, give Monsieur more time.
He's got droopy branches.
I mean, yeah,
Just
this
can't
year
stay
will be his
healthy.
best chance. Like,
Yes,
I feel like
yes.
this year, like, if we don't see steps of improvement, then we're like, okay, I think you're just a role player.
He plays such a position of need, and he's on such a good contract. Like,
I agree. I'm just
unless
saying,
the
like,
team wants him,
if he's truly going to reach this, like, starter level player, which he has the potential to be, of course, I think this is a year, like, you have to see some steps because there's nothing really holding him back, I would assume.
And he'll get those minutes.
I mean,
unless
he could
injuries
probably be the
happen.
starting 3 right now, unless we start, like, Sharpe at the 3, which actually, let's just get into that. If this is our team next year, assuming Dame and probably Nurk get traded, are we running 3 guards?
No, I hope not.
Or is Sharpe coming off the bench?
I hope it's
It can't be Simon's coming off
I
the
hope
bench.
it's Scoot, Ant, Nasir, Jeremy, Nurk, and Sharpe gets like the 30-plus minutes off the bench.
I think Nurk won't be traded
I think
because-
Nurk will get traded in the Dame deal, honestly.
Yeah, I mean...
He's talking like
that's-
he's gonna.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. I don't know if that's true
'Cause
or not.
if you
but-
trade Nurk and you have to bring back a 7-footer, or then you were literally just a tiny team. I mean, we saw who's that center that played in the summer
I think
league?
we'll start. I
Badji?
think Badji might be our
Badji.
starting center next year,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
unless we still have the mid-level exception to use, but I don't think there's anyone else out there.
Yeah.
That's why if I had a
Bring
hot
back
take,
to White Howard.
other than my Simons average like 27, 28, if I had to have a hot take that I would have put in this, it would have been the Blazers have the first overall pick next year. Because I think, A, we're probably not going to have a lot of talent, and B, we want to, because we don't want to do what we did in 2016 or 2016 and win games and set ourselves back by not having enough. Because right now the
think
top
it's-
pick in the draft next year is a 3.
I think it's a little different than 2016 because you were just coming off a summer where you let your best player walk for nothing. Like you're getting something back for Dame. So we had no assets and a bad team, and we made the playoffs. This time we have assets, have a bad team, but
Yeah,
I still think it's the best interest to tank. But I'm just saying, if they made the play-in somehow or the 10 seed and got bounced in the play-in, I don't think that's a horrible thing either.
First overall pick, I don't see that as out of the question at all. OKC, they're going to be better. The Spurs are obviously not going to get the first overall pick. They're going to be way better.
Are they?
So what?
Like I feel like other than
I
the
feel like
Rockets,
other than
I feel like
the
I think
Rockets.
we're better than the Rockets.
I have some
Even though
bad-
they're in a similar position to us,
No, but the bad thing,
just with less talent, ready.
the bad
more
thing,
raw talent.
Bad thing about the Rockets, they brought in Freddie and
Oh, that is true.
Dylan Brooks, and
They,
you know,
they probably want to win a little bit.
but you know who had the lowest field goal percentage last season?
Freddie?
Freddie and Dylan Brooks. So they're going to be bricking away.
I mean, I feel like
we'll
they
see.
might build a new neighborhood over there.
Yeah, they might build a neighborhood over there, but I think the West will overall be marginally a little better, which might give us an open door to get the first overall pick, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I think the long-term vision for Cronin, I can kind of see it, is you're not going to compete right now pretty much no matter what you get unless you got Giannis or Tatum, but like that's not realistic, obviously. So I think what you have to do is kind of like quietly rebuild, start stacking for 2025, 2026, and once that current generation of like LeBron, PG, Durant, Curry start to phase out of the league, and those teams have to go into rebuild, that's when the Blazers rise. Like you got to let Denver go through their run. I mean, literally, there's probably 13 teams in the West that are actually trying to win.
Yeah, so, with that being said, with a rise in a couple years, Eli_Sussman says, Blazers want to win a championship in the next 6 years.
Will.
I think we had this hot take last podcast, and it was, will Dame win a championship in Portland?
What do you want me to say?
I mean,
no.
yeah, we'll say
yes, the Blazers will win a championship in the next 6 years. At least I hope.
Yeah,
It won't be the next 3 years. It won't be the next 3 years.
You can't say no to that. I mean, you can. Sure, they'll win a championship. I think they'll make finals.
It's like that interview question.
Scoot is
It's
so
like
good,
that.
bro.
It's like that interview question with Chris Paul after Game 6 in a playoff game. He's like, "Chris, will there be a Game 7?" He's like, "What do you want me to say? I'm on the team." No, it's over.
Oh, I thought
Like, of course we're gonna win a championship in the next 6 years.
I thought you were gonna say like Chris Paul after he went to the finals. He was like, I'm addicted to the finals, and everyone's like, oh, CP got over his addiction.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Yeah, sure, they win a championship.
Rip.City official says Scoot and Sharpe will be a top 3 backcourt of all time and possibly top 5 duo of all time.
Oh my gosh, anyone have a fire extinguisher?
It is hot in here.
And then going on with that,
Oh
with
my
like
God.
them being really good, this guy Andrew O'Neal says Scoot will be the best Blazer of all time and retire with at least 3 rings and 1 MVP.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I'm not gonna, dude. This is a lose-lose because if we say yes, he's gonna do it, he's obviously not gonna do it. But on the off chance he does, we're gonna look so dumb if we're like scoff at it. So I'm gonna say, good hot take. Good hot take.
Good hot take, man.
That's what this is about.
The odds are unfortunately plus 10 million, but
You think that it's more likely, or us roll 7 6s in a row?
probably that. So
All right.
This one's from Cash P.22. He had a hot take last year, if you remember. He said
Oh
we're
my
going to
God.
have 4 All-Stars.
he said 4 also.
That might
last
go
year?
down in the hot
He
take
said
Hall of
4.
Fame.
And we had
this year,
1.
This year he says we trade
We didn't have
Ant-
one.
Yeah, Dame was an All-Star.
Oh, but yeah, I heard. Okay, you're right.
We trade Ant, Nas, Nurk, and picks for an All-Star caliber player, and Dame stays this year.
Okay, the first part could be true, the second part's not true.
I would love for that to happen, but unfortunately, that is a scorching hot take, and the odds of that happening are more likely than the sun exploding right now because that's just not happening.
It's an
What
interesting-
was the package he proposed?
he didn't say player because there wasn't enough room for him
Like-
to take.
like,
oh,
you
Ant,
give up.
Nas, and Nurk, and picks for a star-level player.
That's basically what we wanted to do before the offseason. He's basically saying we're going to do
I
what
think
we
he still
wanted to
thinks
do.
we just had the draft lottery.
Does he know Dame got traded? Has he been living under a rock?
You know Dame has not been traded yet, Cody.
Yeah, okay, well,
It's just, yeah.
I keep saying traded. Request traded.
I don't think Dame stays. I'll leave it at that.
Final take we'll have, and we'll wrap up, is from also Mike Ledigoat. I'm going to send a couple. Yeah, obviously, we already did a couple. But number one, the problem, and this is also obviously not that hot. Number one, the problem has never been our GM, but our owners.
Thank you.
That's
That could be hot because Paul was great and Neil was not. It's
I
the
think
owner
not
now.
Yeah.
Owner now.
I mean, we just
For
got to
sure.
hope what that E. Richardson dude says. That we got to hope Phil does what
Oh
he
my
said.
god! If you're that rich and that cheap that you can't go into luxury tax, you're just pathetic. I don't
Wait,
really know
what
what
is
else
he?
to say.
Third richest owner?
Third richest owner. I mean,
Let's
that's
talk about
so
it.
much money. Like, how, dude? Like, how
And
are you
did
that
she buy
cheap?
the team?
No, she got inherited to herself. Like, you're building a legacy off. You're old, so you're not going to be alive 30 years from now, most likely. 40. Okay, that's nothing.
No,
I'm
that's
just
not.
saying.
No, it's not crazy.
I'm just saying your timeline's there. Like, why would you want to build a legacy?
That's why we want Phil, because Phil's what, like 80, and he's saying like he would want to come in and obviously he's buying it because he wants to win a
Hey,
championship
Cole,
and have a legacy.
if you found like a penny on the ground, would you throw it off a cliff to make the Blazers better?
Yeah,
Because Jody wouldn't.
yeah, facts. Would you donate $5 to charity, $5 to the Blazers organization if it meant they were gonna be competing for a championship? Damn, that's too much.
No,
money.
I can't do that. Too much money.
That's too much money.
It's my brother's $5. I don't want no. Pathetic. All right.
I think that's all the takes we have.
Do you guys have any hot takes for yourself?
Ooh.
I said mine. Honestly, if you can think of a hot take here quickly, maybe that's the next Instagram post to promote this podcast. Obviously, you guys have already seen it if we ended up doing it, but we each give our hot take for the next year or for whatever we want.
For sure, I can
I'm gonna.
take
Mine
that
is
moment.
going to be. It's either Ant or it's the Blazers' first pick.
Doesn't mean the Blazers have to have the worst record either. I mean, next year draft lottery is going to be the best night of the offseason again. I'll go Blazers get the first overall pick.
I got my hot take. Scoot, Rookie of the Year.
I think that's a hot take.
Scoot,
If you looked at the odds right now, he's probably like
And Blazers
Major plus
and Blazers get home court. Just kidding. Not that one.
the Blazers are legit. Legitly taking
Scoot Rookie of the Year. That's my hot take. Is that a bet I'm making with my brain? No, but for my heart.
Can I do a Dame one?
Yeah, of course.
I'll say Dame doesn't get traded until 2024.
That's a take.
It's a take.
It's hot.
And the Blazers start 18-2.
And he still requests.
If you had one hot take that was like
Scorching.
scorching in terms of like just straight from the heart, no brain, mine would be Jaylen Brown or Joel Embiid request a trade in the coming weeks. Dame flips and we trade for them.
Blazers win a championship next year after Joel requests a trade. Dame decides to stay.
We only have to send Nurk and Nas.
Yep, that's mine.
Mine would probably be Scoot, Chris Murray, and Ryan Repair combined to average 70 points.
With Ryan dropping 30 a game.
I'm kidding. A one from the heart.
It doesn't have to do with Dame, obviously, if you don't want it to
Yeah,
be.
from the heart, my scorching take is Phil Knight finalizes a buy for the team in the next 2 weeks, and all of a sudden we have money to go spend, and he actually tells Joe Cronin I'm firing you if you don't go make a deal right
And
now.
how does that happen? Like, what causes Jody to sell the team?
I
What
believe
gets
some
released?
things get released.
Okay, that's all we got. If you were listening on Spotify, you could go watch the YouTube to see the hot takes on the screen. But if you're watching on Spotify, give it 5 stars. Give it a nice little rating. Give it a like on YouTube. And then go follow our, what do we have? Instagram,
Twitter,
TikTok. We've been running some fun NBA content on TikTok. So if you're interested in NBA
Facts.
content, go check it out. We'll see you guys in the next podcast. Probably some more Summer League recaps coming up soon. And that's all we got. Peace.
Peace.